It was back in 2017 that the Lamborghini Huracan Performante arrived and proved, once and for all, that there was a world-class supercar within Lamborghini's V10 model. Until then, the Huracan had been underwhelming. The job of the new Huracan Evo is to capture that Performante magic in the standard model.
If supercar reviews are your thing, you've found the channel you've been looking for. Hit that subscribe button now and you won't miss any one of Autocar's supercar reviews, comparisons or track tests. So how do you go about infusing the standard Huracan with some of the genius of the Performante? Its uprated engine is a good start. The Huracan Evo uses the same 631 bhp 5.2 litre normally aspirated V10 as the Performante, albeit with its own engine management software. But the engine is all that's been carried over. For the Huracan Evo's chassis, Lamborghini's engineers more or less went back to the drawing board. New for this version are rear wheel steering and torque vectoring. Also new is Lamborghini Dynamic Vehicle Integration, or LDVI. That's a central brain that issues commands to the rear wheel steering, the torque vectoring, the dynamic steering, the magnetic dampers and the four-wheel drive system, so that all of those parameters work together as one for the best handling results. In fact, LDVI is so smart it can actually predict what the driver will do next, priming the relevant systems in anticipation of the driver's input. All of that makes the Huracan Evo Lamborghini's most agile and responsive road car so far. Aero tweaks increase downforce and reduce drag, while the cabin gets a slick new touchscreen in the centre console. In the UK, the Huracan Evo costs a lot. It's now £206,000, which is about the same as a Ferrari 488 GTB.
First impressions, you still feel like you're sat slightly high. You're actually not. It's purely because the roofline is so low. You are sat on the floor. 5.2 litre normally aspirated V10. It's still spectacular. For my money, one of the best performance car engines on sale right now. More power, and the car feels quicker. It really does. It's so fast. Once you get up to 6,000 RPM or something, it flies, and then it spins all the way to around 8,500. So you've got such a wide power band, and it sounds spectacular. It's one of those engines that makes you think turbos are evil. Gearbox, sensational, so quick. Onto dynamics, the way the car actually drives. So what did they need to do to improve the old model? Bluntly, they needed to make it more thrilling to drive from a handling point of view. The original Huracan was just a bit flat-footed, just not as wild, not as exciting to drive as it should have been, despite the engine, despite the soundtrack and the performance. You would always choose a Ferrari 488 GTB or any comparable McLaren for one blast around a circuit. The Performante put that right, and that's what this car needs to do, capture some of the Performante's magic. And I can only tell you what it's like to drive on circuit, obviously. First impressions are very, very positive. The steering is more intuitive now. It's dynamic steering, but it's intuitive, it's predictable. It gives you a good sense of where the front end is. I think it's got a more resilient, grippy front end. We are on the optional P0 Corsa tyres here, do have more grip, and so you've got a good front axle. The car feels super agile. It feels light, nimble, poised, really well controlled on circuit here. I'm in sport mode at the moment. That it gives you that amount of slip so you can make the car slide. That's where the car's playful, and it's really enjoyable, rewarding, engaging. It does what you want it to do in that mode. You can chuck it around. There you go. Feels fantastic in that mode. Through this long, cresting right-hander, the car wants to understeer. That's the one corner that really does catch it out a little bit. The front end does start to wash out. Any road car through there is going to want to push on. Again, second gear out of a tight corner there. In sport mode, the car wants to slide. Let's get into Corsa mode now. That's lap time. All about precision, speed. All about lap time. In the same corner, the car will not oversteer in the same way. It's planted. It's absolutely tied down. And then it becomes So sharp, so precise, like a racing car. So foot down there and ping, it just fires down the next straight. Doesn't want to oversteer at all in Corsa mode. So is it more fun to drive than the old car? Yes. Yes, it really is. It's faster, feels more agile, more playful. It's not quite so prescriptive. You can drive it your way rather than having to drive it exactly the way it wants to be driven. That makes it a more rewarding, a more engaging car. There's a handling circuit at the Nardo test track, and around there this car is 3.7 seconds quicker than the previous Huracan. That's a 5.7 kilometer circuit. So 3.7 seconds is a huge amount. And crucially, this new Huracan Evo is even quicker around that circuit than the Performante. This is no mild facelift. This is as comprehensive a re-engineering project as you're likely to find, without it being an all-new model altogether.
So there you have it, 3 laps of the Bahrain GP circuit, and the Huracan Evo, it's a big step on from the previous version, more agile, more playful, more responsive, less frustrating. It isn't perfect, the brakes get very hot after just a few laps, the pedal itself doesn't give any real feedback, and under very heavy braking from high speeds, the car can feel a touch unstable. What's very clever about LDVI, that trick central brain that controls the car's various systems and even predicts what the driver will do next, is that it feels natural, intuitive. You never feel as though the car is trying to drive itself. It is still you, the driver, who is in control. The real success here is the clever integration of all those new technologies. It's seamless. Crucially, the Huracan Evo is far more fun to drive than the original Huracan. Does that make it your supercar of choice? Let us know in the comments below.